Every single time I've ever fished a rig like this, and all of us have been.
You get a short strike.
Yep.
A short strike, boom, it's gone.
Instant.
Hey guys, one of the things that we get a lot on social media and our Facebook page and our Instagram and even, DMs to us and on our website is about the hooking system. The hooking system to the Banjo Minnow is totally unique and unlike what other people ask about. They say, why don't you just put a hook on the front of a soft plastic bait? It does the same thing.
What do I say to that? Honestly, show them again that living plastic where we have the anchor at the front of the minnow.
Look at the action that you get with the living plastic. Now imagine, and you'll see footage of what that looks like when you get thrown through the water, dives, jerks, random action in all directions. And that's what's happening because of this hooking system. And people say, well, I can just hook another soft plastic bait.
Well, can
but
you?
Can you?
Well, can you?
Show the difference. Right.
You tell me, can you?
Right.
Is this the same thing? I do not think so.
Right. Okay, so what do they do? What do they do?
So this is a classic. So this is a classic, minnow.
Right.
It's just a plain minnow. And this is the difference between our living plastic and what other, lures have is, it probably
it's a soft plastic.
Yeah, and again, this will catch fish every now and then.
Right.
You might get lucky and catch some fish on it, but you can't even compare this to what we have come up with.
But what happens? So if a fish short strikes it, what happens? Now watch. Because show what they did. They put the hook right. Yeah. You can put the hook right through the plastic.
And the reason I rigged it like this is, typically they're putting it on a drop shot hook, and so for me to even rig this demo, my first thought was I wanted to rig it through the eyes. You can't. They're hard eyes, so you can't do it. So you have to either go from the mouth up or from the top down.
It's almost like live baiting it.
Exactly.
Live bait hook.
What happens? Every single time I've ever fished a rig like this, and all of us have been.
You get a short strike.
Yep.
A short strike, boom, it's gone.
Instantly.
It's gone. So there goes your minnow and your fish. They may strike it, but the chances of it being hooked or ripping off on a short strike increase dramatically. This is the banjo hook. Now Chance, why don't you compare, we'll go back to the banjo hook, compare to what someone would normally do when they're using that other rigging system.
So typically when people try to make their own banjo minnow rig, which we constantly hear on YouTube and social media.
Which is actually kind of flattering. They're trying
it really is.
Because they know it's good.
Exactly, and that's kind of the reason that we've brought it back, is there is a need in the fishing world for this, and that's what we've come here to do. But that being said, these are good, effective hooks, but I want to tell people that you can see this is not a Texas rigged hook. We have designed this, custom designed it to fit our specific fishing system.
Right. And what's great about this is this gap between the eyelet and the front of the hook, that increases your strike to hookup ratio tremendously.
Yeah, and we went through tons of designs. This is no accident.
Right.
This took a lot of development, and we finally landed on what we thought was the perfect hook.
Okay, so the big difference is now that hook gives you that kind of motion. Now, when somebody wants to do a soft plastic bait, like a flute, right?
Yep.
Show them how you have to hook a fluke, and then what happens. So what has just happened when he puts this Texas rig hook in this fluke? He's basically just put a backbone back into the fluke. So now show the difference between the action of that and that. So people say, well, you can just use a fluke. Well, yeah, you can just use a fluke, but it limits the action.
Yeah.
And because this is at the nose like this, it doesn't take the skill that takes. You have to be a pretty good, accomplished fisherman to fish with that. But then the other part is, talk about it's weedless, but then what has to happen?
Well, yes, it might be a little bit weedless.
Right.
But the thing is, and this is typical with flukes and paddle tail swim baits. Imagine a fish bites on that.
Right.
This is all that soft plastic
and then you have to yank.
Yeah, and that hooks
real
and
hard.
Even then, you're only going to capture the fish's, you know, the deepest part of the hook, and you're talking, you know, less than an eighth inch.
Yeah. Now, again, we're not saying these aren't good. We're not saying they don't work. They're really good. There's lots of flukes. There's great, you know, Texas rig hooks for flukes. But at the end of the day, it's all about the action that you're getting on the bait. Now, what looks more like a minnow? This or the banjo with the gills and the eyes and the scales and the lifelike appearance and activity?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we didn't even touch on earlier the fact that all these flukes and these paddle tails, they hardly ever have eyes. They hardly have any, which, you know, that is just a completely different bait.
Right. Now, take the Texas rig out, and people say, well, you can just put a hook in a fluke. Yes, you can. Put it right there in the nose. Set it in between there. It's great. Fine. But now when you get a short strike, boom, done. So these are good lures, but soft plastic baits like flukes and other baits, they're good lures, but your strike to hookup ratio is going to be so much greater with the Banjo Minnow because it's designed specifically to be at the nose.
And I just want to bring attention to one more thing, you know, the fact that this is a fishing system. So I'm going to take our banjo hook and our banjo anchor that's already ready to go and just put it into this paddle tail fluke.
Okay.
And I just want to show people that our fishing system has been refined over 2 years. We've taken time to do this, and every little part is important. And so what I'm doing now is I'm putting this fluke on our banjo rig, which again is probably way better than just fishing a traditional fluke or paddle tail swim bait with a backbone. But look at this. That is not living plastic. That is not, we are not getting anything near the action and pliability that our Banjo Minnow has.
Right, exactly. And the other part of it is, let's say you like that, you can't buy a banjo hook and a banjo nose anchor and O-rings anywhere else. It only comes with the Banjo Minnow system.